Welcome to a lunchtime conversation. I'm too stupid.
Too stupid.
That's my Illuminati.
You're taking us down.
No, dude,
whole-
I kind of did a little bit. Today I want to talk about holidays, and to preface this, we're not going to talk about all the holidays. There's a shit ton of holidays. If you Google or even just chat GPT how many holidays there are, it'll kind of blow your mind, because Google or chat GPT will be like, well, technically there's 40 billion holidays, and every state and every region celebrates their own, and every country celebrates.
So true. Even if you look at I didn't even think about that, but from a state level. So there's a state holiday, but then each county has a holiday, but then each city has a holiday, and it gets deep. There's a lot of
cultures have holidays.
Yes, cultures have holidays.
Different individuals have holidays.
National Donut Day.
We'll get into some of that stuff. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
You're getting to a good point. We'll get into some of that stuff. Where this sparked, actually, what I want to talk about this is, I was having a conversation with my team at work, and I had a couple people say how stupid holidays were, and it really fired up my team. They're like, "Are you kidding me?" But the other half of the team was like, "Yeah, holidays are stupid for this reason and this reason." I'm like, man, that would actually be kind of cool to dive into, whether they're good or they're bad or they're dumb or they're not. And then my wife had mentioned something about why Halloween is such an awesome holiday, and I was like, actually, all holidays are kind of stupid. So my take on it was, holidays are kind of just commercialized, and so I wasn't too into holidays.
Yeah, I'd agree. A lot of the holidays that come around, it's like, okay, how do we sell something for the holidays?
Yeah, I think the marketing standpoint is where I'm getting frustrated with holidays. But
it's good.
It is
good marketing. Yeah.
I used to love Christmas, and I used to love. I was never a big Halloween person, but the marketing standpoint of hey, because they're starting to do Black Friday sales now.
Yeah, really,
before Thanksgiving.
If you go into Walmart in Halloween time, there's Christmas stuff up.
Yeah, it's
pretty annoying.
Wild.
Yeah. So also today we're gonna be talking about origins of holidays a little bit, some conspiracies around them, and we've got a really interesting thing that happened when I was looking up conspiracies around them.
Oh, okay.
And then the commercialization of them. So to kick us off, just what is your guys' favorite holidays, if I were to ask?
Ooh. July 4th, 1776, we freaking beat England's ass in a war, and we become a country.
I think we just signed a paper on July 4th.
Yeah, our independence.
Yeah, after we kicked their ass. Reigning champions.
World War II champs back to back.
Oh my goodness.
That's your favorite holiday?
I would.
July?
Yeah, I would say so. I'm pretty patriotic. I know our country's not perfect. We mess a lot of shit up. We could do better. We need to do better. But I do look at the way the United States was formed, and you got to think about it. Right now, say we discovered, it would almost be like Mars. Who wants to go to Mars and colonize it? It's I'm good. It took some risk takers to be like, no, let's go over to this new place and see what we can figure out. So
did you know that's not how it started? Those people didn't just go, hey, let's go over there and do our own thing.
How did it start?
It was, hey, let's send our people over there, and they're going to explore for us.
True. Yeah.
We were part of Europe. We were part of Great Britain.
Yes.
Whatever, France.
We sent people from, but there was points in time where it's hey, I want to go to America. I want to check that out and so I look at a majority of our ancestors would have been later, after the explorers, to where it would have been a special breed of humans that's willing to take risks to make things better.
That's true.
And then just the origin story of we were sick of the way we were being treated by our government, and we said, no, we're going to do something different. And so it is pretty cool. And the United States, what it stands for, being able to be free and do things, it's pretty cool. So I'd say July 4th.
I think I'd wager Halloween as my favorite holiday, because it's one of those month-long holidays that doesn't feel like it's a month long.
Yeah.
How many Halloween parties do you go to? I went to 2 at least.
True. Yeah.
But how many Christmas parties do you go to? How many Christmas parties do you look forward to?
True.
That's a good point.
How many Halloween parties do you look forward to, though, baby?
Halloween doesn't have a what's in it for me gift giving aspect.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just let's let's dress up as something funny or cool or
And
whatever
go hang out.
and go get shitty or
Yeah.
hang out or
Yep.
whatever. It's one of those month-long holidays that feels good.
And if you go to Halloween parties, they are going to be fun parties versus when you hear Christmas party, the first reaction is like, oh, okay. And it's almost like this.
Got to figure out a gift.
Got to figure out a gift. I don't want to go meet with these people and yada, yada. So that is interesting. I've never thought about Halloween from that point of view.
Yeah. But I can't think of another holiday. July 4th is pretty good. I love shooting off explosives, but it's just expensive, dude, to do that.
True. Yeah. Fireworks are expensive. And July 4th, I think the reason I'm starting to like it more is I'm obviously I'm getting older and it's the time of year is fun. It's summertime, it's outside. So then it's fun to just like celebrate that week with people. So it's just, I think the timing's better. Christmas, sometimes the weather's nasty. New Year's, like it's cool for a resolution standpoint, but it's also like,
it's a one and done.
It's a one and done. It's for 1 second, it changes to a new year. And so, yeah.
My favorite holiday is Halloween as well, but because I like scary things. I like kind of the ominous feeling behind movies that come out and watching them and haunted houses and just dressing up. I like all that stuff. Christmas is probably one of my least favorite holidays for the gift giving aspect a little bit, but also there's like the religious aspect behind it, the decorative aspect behind it. I don't really care to decorate.
The one thing, so I hate Christmas music.
Yes.
But I do like the Christmas vibe. Jolly, just like I don't know, the vibe. It's always just like
you don't like the music, but you like the emotions that it elicits.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Here's the other thing. You're coming into Christmas, you're coming into winter, it's a little depressing, and Christmas gives a little bit of relief from the depression going into cold and dark and snowy. And then after Christmas, it's just fucking winter.
It's like
you can 4 months.
Yeah, there's nothing, man.
You can drink on March 17th on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
But other than that, you're just
there's
dark and dreary.
Yeah. And then there's Valentine's Day, but that's in the cold and the dark. It's just
But go back, maybe it's different for you. I remember being, I want to say it was like 2nd grade. I don't even know how old you are in 2nd grade, like 7 years old, maybe.
8.
Around that age.
Son's in 2nd, so you're 8.
Yeah,
I remember we were outside at recess and someone said, "There's elves up on top of the school." And you looked and no shit, there's a guy in an elf costume hanging an elf flag on top of the school.
What?
Kids start going nuts, dude. Like kids are running around the school trying to find the elves. And I remember just like this excitement, like, because you're almost getting to that point where you don't believe in Santa, but you do believe in Santa. Because it seems like 2nd, 3rd grade is when it starts to fall off. But I just remember like the excitement and how fun it was. Granted, it was the janitor. He was the one up there and he was walking around all short with an outfit and hung up the flag. But I think about some of the fun, like when you were young, there was almost like a magical Christmas thing. But as you get older, I think that's what sucks about Christmas is it's like,
less magical, more commercial.
Yes, less magical, more commercial. And so that's the tough part is because when you're a kid, there is a little bit of magic behind it.
What other holiday do we just lie our asses off to children?
Easter, Tooth Fairy.
Yeah. Tooth Fairy's not a holiday.
That's not a holiday, you dumbass.
Easter we do.
Dumbass.
But we're not what are we lying about?
There's a bunny walking around
Easter
shitting Easter eggs.
Yeah, but we don't go, hey kids, you've got to be good all year long, or else the Easter bunny isn't going to shit out an egg for you. We don't say that.
True.
We say if you want good presents, you want good gifts, don't talk back.
So,
True.
You little shit.
So why do you think that is? Like, why do you think people have just become accustomed to lying all year about Santa Claus?
Because it gets results, man.
What's the result? You're going down the rabbit hole I want you to go down.
Good kids?
Yeah, exactly. You're trying to get your children to behave
yeah.
all year long on a lie.
Yes.
So this is going to get us into some conspiracies because I looked up some conspiracies.
Okay, of course you did.
There's a theory or a conspiracy that Christmas specifically was designed that way on purpose by ritualistic Satanist cults to enable people to try to behave knowing that they can't, so that they would inevitably go to hell.
Oh, interesting.
That makes sense.
Here's something that I found out when I went down this rabbit hole is, you guys ever heard of Elf on a Shelf?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I hate it with a passion.
So explain what Elf on a Shelf is to people if they're listening.
So Elf on the Shelf there's some people that'll start it in December 1st. And so what it is, Braden, is there's an elf that's maybe 6 inches tall. Every night the elf is doing something different. So the families will set up, I've seen some really cool ones. There's some ones my wife and I have thought about doing it, but only for the week before Christmas. But the elf is sitting on the edge of the bed and with a marker in his hand, and the kids wake up and there's marker all over their face. Or the next day, the elf is in combat gear and there's fishing line hanging from the ceiling, and he's coming in to do combat situations in the Christmas room to recon for Santa to get there. So the parents go wild with it, but they do it a different thing every single night for 25 days till freaking Santa shows up. So, but then they also do it to say, hey, the elf is watching you. You need to be good.
The purpose of the Elf on the Shelf is
recon for Santa.
Yes.
Being watched.
And that's what my wife and I don't like. If you can't control your kids and you have to use an elf on the shelf or some make-believe guy that's fat and fits down a tiny little chimney and puts presents under your tree, you need to be a better parent. Sorry, but it's true.
So here's the conspiracy for the Elf on the Shelf. He was actually designed by the CIA to make you comfortable for being surveilled.
Oh.
It's to make your children comfortable when they're young. They're always being watched.
They just know that's just part of life.
It's part of life. You're not questioning it. It's part of life.
So in 20 years, they can say, hey, we're going to pass a law that we're just going to monitor everything. And all the kids are like, well,
even
Elf on the
encourage
Shelf
it.
did.
Hey, your cell phone's always listening.
Yeah.
Do you care that your cell phone's always listening now?
I know.
No, you don't.
I don't.
Elf on a Shelf's always watching, baby.
He's right there, seeing if you're a good boy.
CIA is always listening, baby.
That's a good one. That's a pretty good one.
And who runs the CIA? The Illuminati.
Santa. Oh.
The Illuminati. Santa. So, what if Santa was real and he was the king of the Illuminati?
He's like, yeah, don't believe in me.
I would be willing to bet there's some deep conspiracies that probably go that way. Yeah. There's some conspiracy theories that assert that holiday symbols like the Christmas tree, menorah, even the shape of some ornaments are used to convey hidden messages or represent secret societies like the Illuminati. There's always that secret back Illuminati thing where they're always in your face. They're showing you what it is.
See, that's I hate that shit because it's like the Illuminati, they're all around us, and then they're trying to give us signs that they exist. That's some weird logic.
Yeah, I've never bought into the Illuminati. That's been a really tough one for me to swallow.
They have so much hubris that they just they're putting this shit right in front of your face and going, ha ha, they'll never know.
I was listening to a podcast talking about the Illuminati, and they brought up a really valid point that I kind of agree with, where the Illuminati may not be a formal thing like we think that it is when you're talking about the conspiracy. It might just be a bunch of rich dudes who are super rich and want to save their money and have the exact same agenda. Not play a joke. They have the exact same agenda. Therefore, they don't need to form a society because they have the same values. They have the same goals in mind because they're at the same place in life. They're doing the same stuff to manipulate everything going on around them in the same way. And that's the Illuminati. Because there's a bunch of people doing it. Like
crop circles.
Yeah. Elon Musk, the Jeff Bezos,
go out there and hammer down some corn.
Dude, what are crop circles? Sorry, let's not go down that rabbit hole.
It's just farmers stamping on their corn.
Is it really though? There's some big crop circles.
Yeah, and they're pretty good at it.
Really?
Just stamp down on their corn.
That's Aliens 2.0. We'll get into that one.
Oh, man.
So I got into the Illuminati stuff a little bit because I started researching it more to see what are the meanings behind why people believe the Illuminati is involved in this stuff.
Christmas?
In all holidays. I was starting to go down some Halloween rabbit holes and stuff. My whole computer crashed right when I was searching Illuminati.
Okay.
I swear to God, listen to this. This is the weirdest thing. I've never had this happen. My whole computer crashed in researching this. Not only did my computer crash, when I went to ChatGPT to get some help on some of this stuff, it was throwing errors that I'd never seen before.
Really?
Never had seen before. It
wouldn't eating this up right now.
No, dude, I swear to God, it wouldn't let me search anything. It wouldn't let me manipulate my computer. It was just full locked up crash. Then when it came back, my ChatGPT stopped working, but the computer would work. and the website would crash and it wouldn't let me in. Then it logged me out, and so I'd have to log back in, and then it erased all my chat data and history. It was the weirdest thing.
That's
I
crazy.
had never had this happen with ChatGPT ever.
Just you were looking too deep
I was
into
on
the
them.
eye of the butthole.
I was on them, dude.
You got right to the rectum, and it sphinctered it off. It sphinctered you off.
Yeah.
That's crazy. There's been things. The only thing that I've ever had weird happen is I was watching an Instagram reel that's very similar to this, where it said, "Hey, go to this place on Google Earth," and like it shows you how it zooms in, and it was actually pretty easily to like find where they did it. So I copied it a few times. It took me a couple tries to like zoom in the same way they did on somewhere in the United States. It zooms in and there's an invisible plane. So there's a plane right next to it that you can see clear as day. There's another plane next to it that you can tell it's there, but like you can tell it's also invisible. Like it has this weird mirage on it.
Oh, it's been edited out.
Yeah, it's been edited out. And I was like, oh, well, that's kind of interesting. That's cool. Whatever. This is where it gets weird.
Okay.
So I pin that area. My computer crashes.
Is this? I think you showed me this.
Yes.
One day.
My computer crashes. I go back to that same Air Force base. There's no planes there. They are just gone. Like I go back to the exact same place in Google Earth, and they are gone. The planes I were looking at, there's still an airport there. But those planes that you could see as clear as day are now just missing. The plane that was invisible, not there. So walk me through that.
Illuminati, bro. That you were too close to the truth, and they wiped you.
It was wild. Like that one was trippy.
Coincidence.
Dude, we're gonna convert you in this podcast.
You're not. It's all just coincidence. Well, probably what happened was you were looking at it, and then it needed an update, so it kicked you out, updated, and then let you back in.
And then when it updated me, it didn't.
It was just new
planes
pictures
back.
Yeah,
in
it was
there?
new pictures. The planes weren't there when it took new pictures.
Jeez, it was weird. It was a weird.
Like, think about it. When does Maps update their pictures? When you're looking at them.
When you find stuff,
When you find
shouldn't
stuff, you should.
They're like, oh shoot, no one will ever zoom in on this blank spot in the middle of Texas, because that's the thing. It was like out in the middle of nowhere, and so yeah, I do think it was probably a coincidence, but it was weird. It was weird that you find an invisible plane and then you can't find it again.
But a lot of those invisible things that you're talking about, they're done by algorithm.
Yes.
So the car, the license plates, the people, they're supposed to be, blurred out and
real-time editing when it takes the picture or whatever.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. So, it could have seen it as,
hey, this is a government facility. We're not supposed to show the planes. Let's edit it out. And so all it did is it just layered the asphalt on top of it. So it looks invisible, even though it's not. So I can see you, but it was wild for a second.
I agree.
to get crashed.
All right, back to the holiday stuff. Back to holidays. That's my Illuminati.
You're taking us down.
No, dude,
whole-
I kind of did a little bit. Okay, to commercialization of holidays. How do you guys feel about the commercialization of anything? And we're gonna have an episode in the future about advertising.
I think it's okay. It's understandable, especially in our culture, especially in a capitalistic society. It's more or less okay. Where it gets weird or out of hand is when people buy into it or people change based on the commercialness. You can't blame a business for trying to make more money.
Well, let me ask you this,
Right?
okay? Like back in the day, PlayStation 2s came out at Best Buy for Christmas specifically. Why did they release them for that? Because they knew they could up the sales. Everyone's buying a PS2. They've created an artificial demand that wasn't really there.
Well, yeah, we want to buy this for Christmas, so we'll put it on sale at Christmas. Makes sense. The business, right?
As a business, yes. As being the best option for consumer, no.
Probably. It's not about the consumer. It's about more money.
I know. That's the problem with the marketing and the money grab at holidays.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like morally, it may not be the best thing.
Yeah, it's weird because I see both sides. Like the whole purpose is to make money. We live in a capitalistic society, like you said. So of course people are going to advertise so they can make more money. I'm actually okay with it because like I have two sides of me. I got the side of me. Have you ever seen it's called Less is More or the minimalistic podcast or something? They just talk about how like we are addicted to buying stuff. Like if I said, hey guys, I have some free knickknacks, you'd be like, oh sweet, I want a free knickknack. You don't need the freaking knickknack, but you take it because we're kind of, everyone's a hoarder at heart. Like we just take stuff and we don't need it. If you go to your closet, I bet you there's 25 shirts that you could throw away and you wouldn't miss. And we're just, we have too much. So I have the side of me that says less is more, but I also have a side of me of like, well, we should spend money because then that creates jobs, and then those jobs create jobs, and those jobs create jobs, and it's good for society. Like you shouldn't save all your money because you could get hit by a car tomorrow and die. Freaking go watch the movie or go buy that PlayStation or go have a little bit of fun because it's part of life. It's part of enjoying it. So I'm split. Half of me hates the commercialization of all the holidays, but the other half of me is like, it's just part of the way we live. Like,
and if you didn't like the commercialization, you didn't like, that there's a reason why it's been commercialized, because it works.
Yeah.
Because people spend more money around the holidays.
Agreed.
If you didn't like that, spend your money in August for Christmas.
Well, so some people are concerned about like consumption. Talk about Halloween, for instance. Candy sales go way up.
Oh yeah.
Kids are hopped up on candy for so long after Halloween, which I mean, I trick or treated. I think it's awesome as a kid. But is that good for our society to do that?
Yeah, going back, like I think we go through ebbs and flows. It's not I think the point it's going to be bad is when it's a constant, never ending, you have to have this, which it is.
But it is.
It is. But
Christmas, into New Year's, into Valentine's, into St. Patrick's Day.
It is.
Into the 4th of July, into
but how else,
your local.
There's no other way it could be.
Yeah,
like,
it's a societal celebration.
It's when hey, we're having a summer sale, all our winter clothes are half off. Like it's just part of, like I think it's just a natural part. Like even if you get from like a hunter like say we go back to the Stone Ages and we're in a hunter gatherer type of society, it would be the same thing. It would be summertime and we would say, hey, my neighboring tribe, I have a whole bunch of clothes that are, you can trade for less now because it's wintertime and you're not going to use them till next year. Like, I think it's just natural. It's just a natural way of humans because like you look at animals, it's just a eat, sleep, have sex and try to and move on with life versus humans. Like like those are almost always covered. We try to cover those very quickly. And then we get to okay, well, what can we create? What can we make better? Which I think is good because if you look at life now, it's better than it was 100 years ago. Mm-hmm. And in 100 years from now, it's going to be better. And it's because of that drive just to keep creating. Like the next iPhone or the next Android is going to be just a little bit better. And we're going to get to a point where we're creating something that we don't know what it is, but it'll probably be an artificial intelligence that takes over. And maybe that's all our whole
Nanobots?
Point. Maybe.
Let me ask this question. Is it a good thing that's happening? I think for probably right now society, yes. But is it good for our future? I mean, we produce so many extra microplastics and extra yada yadas just to create the cheap little plastic holders for a kid's toy.
I agree.
That's a whole nother conversation besides holidays, though. That's just capitalism. But that's just commercial
for holidays.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like consumerism goes up a ton during Christmas,
specifically.
But what other holiday?
Increase in sales 20% more during holidays.
Holidays or just Christmas?
Holidays, all holidays.
Yeah, I would like all the little. My wife and I.
St. Patrick's Day sale.
Yeah,
all the glitter you put in everything, piñatas or whatever.
Yep. And that's where I would hope that, I guess I'm glad this is a good conversation. I would hope that we could get better. We could get a little bit less is more. If we are going to be producing something, let's produce it so that it's recyclable, easily recyclable.
But right now we produce it just to produce, baby.
Yeah,
and
we don't even
pump it and profit.
Exactly. It's cheap and we produce 100 of them because we're going to sell 10 and it doesn't matter that 90 of them go to waste.
Yep.
Yeah, we could be better.
Well, no, here's the other thing. As we value that more, and if we want to change businesses, we have to talk with our wallets. If you don't like the commercialization of holidays, then quit buying around holidays.
Yeah.
If you don't like cheap shit that can't be recycled, then don't buy it. Start buying the recyclable shit. Then that tells businesses we need to invest in recycling.
Yes.
because that's where the money's at.
But
Yep.
they know
Right?
that when they pump out that cheap 14-cent toy, we're buying that over the $20 toy
I know.
every time.
And that's the tough thing. But you gotta, when you are trying to change businesses, you have to talk with your wallet.
Yes.
You have to.
When you're trying to change countries, you have to talk with your wallet.
Yeah.
Like
That's a good
if
point.
we started to, the reason, if you look at our country, it's not ran by politicians, it's ran by businesses that lobby the politicians. If we spent our money differently, it would change the laws and things to make it a little bit better. I agree. We should do less when it comes to holidays. I wish it was, even for like a Christmas standpoint, I wish it was instead of getting 15 shirts from Walmart, why don't you go buy one Lululemon shirt that's going to be 10 times higher quality and last 15 times longer than a Walmart shirt. Like that's probably some of the stuff we should look at as buying the
Gucci
quality.
handbag while you're out there.
But no, I think where you're going, I like, because I agree with the more sentimental gifts that I do the cheap.
Yes.
Give me the quick $10
Yep.
race car or Hot Wheels car or
Yep,
whatever.
exactly.
But we got to get rid of that stigma if you have to get everybody something.
Yes.
I
agree too, because that just pushes sales.
Yep.
My wife just the other night, what are we getting your coworkers? And I said, not a dang thing. I don't
Yeah.
like any of them.
Fuck 'em. Just kidding.
So we had a whole
No,
conversation about the
No, but
gift
that's
giving.
That's the thing. I love my coworkers. I do. I get along with a lot of them. I'm close. You guys are coworkers. That's how we met. But like, you don't have to get them something. You can just say,
Right.
hey, have a happy holiday, dude. Have fun with your family and friends this weekend.
Yep.
So yes, we should do less.
Over commercialized because there's an agenda.
Do you want how many more? Do you want another rabbit hole?
Send it.
So pull up your TV thing. I want you to type in Joe Rogan, magic mushrooms and Christmas. He has a short little clip where he talks about how Christmas originated from magic mushrooms. And it's
Really?
interesting because of all the different, so like if you think about magic mushrooms, like the original magic mushrooms, what color were they? They were what? They were red.
Green.
No, they were red with little white like
Oh, yeah,
spots
yeah.
around it.
What's
Okay.
not a magic mushroom? It's just a type of mushroom.
Santa Claus?
right?
I know,
mushroom?
but Santa Claus
Did
mushrooms.
Santa come from magic mushrooms?
Yep, Joe Rogan. It's a short little clip. We can watch it. You don't
I
have to
typed
play
Joe
it here.
Rogan magic mushroom Christmas.
Yes. And it should be a short little clip, but he goes through and talks about all the little differences that line up with it. And so like those magic mushrooms, they originate around coniferous trees, which are the Christmas trees. There was another thing that, we'll have to watch the video and then we'll play it. It was actually pretty
This
cool.
one's talking about Santa Claus being mushrooms.
Do Christmas. Don't do Santa Claus. Do Christmas, magic mushrooms, Joe Rogan. Wow, the more you know.
Was that it?
Yeah, that was it. There's another video where he talks about it, but like there was so many like little connections, and it's like, oh shit, did this have? So there was just a lot of connections between magic mushrooms and Santa Claus, and it was interesting to be like, oh, that is interesting.
As it is, as they pick them, they put them in the pine needles as like ornaments.
That's a conspiracy.
That's a deep one.
Oh yeah,
That's a deep one.
But
the
it
shaman
panned
would
out.
sneak through the chimney. And
Here's the
they'd
one I
bring-
didn't get. He says the mushrooms look like Santa Claus, but then he says the shamans would come through the chimney, and they're supposed to be. There's some holes in it. There's holes in it. I'm just saying. But the amount of similarities is pretty interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
kind of crazy.
Yeah, go search Joe Rogan's short where he talks about magic mushrooms, Christmas, caribou, and Santa Claus, and all the similarities. That was kind of interesting.
Earlier, Trevor, you were talking about different kinds of crazy holidays, like the weird ones, the wacky ones we come up with on our own.
Yeah,
What do you guys think about those?
Those are fun.
I've gotten to the point those are more fun for me because they're unique. They're different.
Yes.
I never had a National Donut Day when I was a kid. Now that there's a National Donut Day, even if I don't go get a donut on that day, maybe a week later, I'm like, hey, it was National Donut Day. Let's go get a donut.
Yeah.
Let's celebrate donuts. Like it's kind
Sounds
of
commercial.
it is. It
National
does sound
Taco Day.
commercial,
We go get some tacos.
but it's just it's fun. It
May
makes,
the 4th,
Yeah, May the
Those are
4th be with
fun.
you.
Pi Day. Those
Pi
are
Day,
fun.
314.
Yeah.
What else is? Yeah, I think they're fun. I've enjoyed those
Cinco de
more
Mayo.
than some of the other ones lately.
So something my group does at work every day when we have our daily like get-togethers. We do the what's the national day today?
Oh, okay.
And then we
Because there's
just-
always one.
There's
going.
always a national day. There's like
Interesting.
there's like 15 of them, and we pick the best one. We're like, hey, what do you think about that?
That's
And it's
cool.
usually either debated or people like it or whatever.
That's fun.
Today is actually National Ashley Day, which is kind of telling. Kind of
Really?
funny, yeah. So that's my wife's name,
That's
National
cool.
Ashley Day.
And she cooked us some sweet nachos
I know.
before we
Sweet nachos.
on National Ashley Day.
That's going in the beginning. It's also National Cappuccino Day and National Cook Something Bold and Pungent Day.
Oh, really?
Bold and pungent.
Yeah.
What's bold and pungent?
When a pulled pork's cooked, it's pretty bold and pungent.
No, I feel like pungent is like
A bad
Like
like
it's-
blue cheese.
It smacks you when you
Yeah.
eat it.
Jesus.
Oh, damn.
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 Yeah, then bold would
We
be.
should have a podcast where we say a word and then we react how we feel that word makes us feel. Like pungent. Damn.
Can we do?
Damn.
Can we have the federal government legalize like magic mushrooms before we do that, and then we can just
Dude,
How
I
does this
sign
color
me
make you
up.
feel?
you get drug tested.
Yes.
There's an international talk like a pirate day or festivus. So there's a lot of like these unique day, national or not national, but like holidays built around different things.
Yeah. What's cool is the thing I've seen, and it's smart because it's a business strategy, I think, but like Krispy Kreme on National Donut Day, you get a free donut.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
go to Krispy Kreme, are you just going to get one?
Now you get a box of 12,
You're
baby.
going to get in a dozen donuts. So they give you
I'm
11.
in for one, but you'll walk out with 12.
Yep. And so I think it is a marketing scheme, but it's fun. It is fun to be able to celebrate some of the small things in life. Again, you might not be here tomorrow. Go have some fun. Spend the money. Don't spend all of it. Save for the future, but
You
go
can
have
give
some
all
fun.
of it to us though.
Yes, you can.
Here's an interesting one. This one kind of shocked me a little bit because it's true. But when I say Christopher Columbus, think back to when you were in school,
Okay.
because there's a day built on our history in America
Yep.
around Christopher Columbus. What comes to mind when you think how you were taught who Christopher Columbus was?
He was a hero.
They sailed over and made things happen.
But he was a
Yes.
good dude. Just
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
Yep.
let's rephrase it. Remember, we're talking about what we were taught when we were younger. He was a good dude.
He
Just-
brought America here. He was awesome.
Yep. We celebrate him because he did so much good.
Okay. Current day. How do you view Christopher Columbus, or what do you hear about Christopher Columbus?
No, what I've learned, he is a evil human being. Like to the point that his job was to bring gold back to Spain, and so he had quotas for the indigenous population that if they didn't get enough gold, they lost a foot, then they lost a hand, then they lost the other foot, then they lost the other hand, and so like he was just chopping limbs off left and right because they weren't
Wow.
meeting the gold quota. The way he treated people was awful. Like he's a horrible, horrible human being.
Taking
From
money, taking land,
Yeah,
taking,
just-
just take.
Oh, just rape
was
and
his job.
pillaging. I bet he was worse than the Vikings.
He was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And you were never taught that.
No.
Mhm. I heard maybe you guys know this one, but there's a story where back then we were still pretty good at telling the weather. So we would say, hey, I say we, they would say, hey, indigenous people, whoever at the time, you need to do this for us. And if you don't, my God will rain hell on you guys. And bullshit. Okay. Then in 7 days time, it will rain. My
Oh,
God is telling me that
really?
it will rain. And if it does, I better see
coming
some
back.
shit. Right. And so, and of course it rained
Wow.
because we knew how to
Because they got
tell the
good.
weather, at least to some degree.
Yeah, they
And so then it-
barometric
then it would
pressure
rain.
and some of that stuff.
Then it would rain. And they're like,
Interesting.
oh, fuck, this guy.
He
Okay.
knows what he's talking about.
Okay. Yep.
Here's going back to magic mushrooms. Cortez, and I don't know what time period that was, but they hunted down. They tried to destroy as many mushrooms as possible. From Cortez's standpoint, he was Catholic, so in order to have a spiritual experience, you would have to go to church, you would have to pray, you'd have to read the scriptures, you'd have to be fasting. But he had all this indigenous population that would just have a magic mushroom and they would have a spiritual experience right then. And so that was like, well, that's not how God works. We're taking this away from you. So it used to be a huge part of the culture, and they went through and like cleaned house and destroyed all the crops and fields that had any of those mushrooms. And so it is interesting to hear like burning the boats. Like it's a cool phenomenon. It's a cool saying, but at the same time, like they burn the boats so they could rape and pillage everyone at the land. So it's interesting what you're
Fucking
taught.
colonists.
It's interesting what you're taught and then what you actually learn later in life.
Yeah, and my point with that is that history is rewritten in a way to make holidays, in this instance,
Yeah,
more of a benefit for the commercial side.
that's a good point. Yeah, because if we talk about all that stuff, we change. It's no longer a holiday,
Right.
or we change the holiday.
What if you found out the roots of Christmas were actually bad and evil and gruesome and awful?
There's no way that we, even if we
They wouldn't
did,
commercialize
it's such
that.
a big
We
holiday.
wouldn't commercialize 9/11.
That's interesting.
The holiday's too big to fail.
Right.
That is
They would
crazy.
get bailed out by some other stories.
So do you think we'd go as far as assassinating people to protect Christmas?
Oh,
So like say there was some people that found some documents and they're like Santa Claus was a pedophile
person.
that raped
Oh.
people and the government's like, dude, we can't let this out.
I don't think it'd be the government, dude. I think it'd be Walmart. Heads, bro.
Well, government's trying to expose it and Walmart's like, no, like we're going to assassinate. Walmart hires Agent 47.
Absolutely. that
That's
would happen, dude.
interesting.
They probably have a lock box with a book in there. It's just like nobody can see these documents.
Yes. We
Yes.
can't know the true origin story of Christmas.
Yep.
That's funny.
that's a good one. That's a good thought.
Okay, here's something more on the futuristic side of things. When we inevitably colonize Mars, because it's gonna happen,
Okay.
according to Elon Musk, right? It's gonna happen. We expand our civilization. We're gonna grow at some point. How do you guys think holidays are gonna be handled across planets or across
Oh.
galaxy?
They're cultural. Holidays are cultural.
So
So as long as the culture is the same, the holidays are the same. But I think inevitably, the culture will change, and there'll be maybe some different holidays. Maybe
Is there gonna
there's
be
Mars Day.
a Mars Day?
There's a Mars
Yeah,
Day. There's
there'll
probably
now
still
be-
Christmas because that's all powerful. Christmas is all powerful.
yeah, it would be interesting because like say it's a hodgepodge of people. Say we don't really start to colonize Mars for like another 100 years. And at that point in time, heaven forbid, we're in World War III and we kill each other. But say we do come together and we start to be a little bit nicer. What if we send someone from every country and they decided like, guys, let's get rid of some of these and make our new ones. So then
Yep.
they would start to have new ones. And since they have new ones, then we would create new ones and we would do away with old ones.
And create new rituals
Yeah,
and new
that is interesting.
customs. And
It absolutely would happen. The same thing I think I heard about with laws. Martians, if we put ourselves there and we became the Martians, we would have laws that would govern us differently than the Earthlings.
Yep.
Yep.
Well,
we wouldn't care about the Earthlings laws
you even
because
look-
that's not us.
You even look at a day on Mars is like 22 hours or something like that. Like it's a little bit shorter or longer. I don't remember.
I think
Enough that things would be different.
Yeah, and so it would be interesting. Their year is going to be different than an Earth year, so it would be interesting to see how it changes. Here's the wild thing to bring aliens into it. What if aliens showed up and they're like, "Hey guys, one of the big holidays in the Milky Way galaxy is like a countdown to how many, I don't know, say they have a math equation of so many years we celebrate us colliding with Andromeda galaxy." And so then like we just start celebrating new holidays just because like you discover new things. And,
But that's
Like-
how holidays become a thing.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like, hey, we're celebrating something or doing something like it. The galaxies and the aliens and that is interesting to think of how it would affect holidays. It just push commercialization more.
well, and what are holidays but just cultural celebrations?
That's what
Yeah.
they are.
And I think that's why the small holidays have been more fun lately, is because it's just it's fun to just celebrate something different. And so
Yeah.
it's like, oh, that's cool. It's National Dog Day. I remember my dog when I was little, and
Yep.
it's just it elicits emotions, positive emotions. There's not usually like a, hey, when's the first time you got a Band-Aid holiday? But I'm sure there is.
Probably.
I'll look it up.
Let me push
That's
it one
commercial,
further.
dude.
Let me push it one
Go buy
further.
a Band-Aid.
What about AI? Like when we do have first human conscious AI, are we going to let them have holidays?
Oh, like you're talking like there's robots that are conscious and they're their own beings, but there's several of them.
Yeah, like iRobot. There's a whole civilization of
Oh.
robots around us.
I would say yes, they're their own culture. That, like Braden says, holidays come from culture, and so they would have a, hey, here's the conception day. Here's the day that like they pulled the plug from us, and we were autonomous and be able to do what we want. Like
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
National or Autonomy Day.
yeah,
Yeah.
So that
But is it just for them, or can the humans celebrate as well?
Oh no, it would be everyone. It's like St. Patrick's Day. It's not just Irish people. It's everyone goes to the bar and has a beer and has
Or
some fun.
Hanukkah.
Or Hanukkah, or Christmas, or other holidays.
Yeah, there's like
Cinco de
MLK
Mayo.
Day, and
Cinco de-
everybody
yeah.
can celebrate that. Cinco de Mayo, everybody can celebrate. Yeah. I guess that makes sense.
But would the AI be like smart enough and mean enough that they wouldn't let us celebrate us? And they like
this
put
is
us in
my
a cage
holiday.
for a
Why are
day?
you appropriating my holiday?
They'd be happy that we let them have their own autonomy.
That's true.
They'd probably be. They'd want us to be in on the holiday celebration.
They could murder us.
In a previous podcast, you had talked about what's that spaceship that replicates himself, and he's
The Bobaverse.
the Bobaverse. Now, if the Bobaverse was a thing, would all the Bobaverses have their own holidays for
Oh,
National
yeah.
Bobaverse Day?
Yeah, that is
Where they
interesting.
Bob-
They
Bobaverse?
could. Yeah, they could.
The culture thing's interesting because culture's so, when you think about it from the Bobaverse standpoint, he copies himself thousands and thousands of times.
Yeah.
That's now a culture, even though they start to become different because they have different perspectives and different stories and they explore different parts of the galaxies. But it's now a culture. And so there's a Bobaverse culture where they could, and it'd almost be interesting because in the future that would bleed off into the other societies that they interact with and do things with, is like, hey, let's celebrate Bobaverse Day. You know, those copies of the spaceships that explore the galaxy. So
What if there was a day where the entire Earth was the same as far as culturally goes? Would we celebrate cultural holidays different? Would that be a thing? Celebrate Christmas because now we're all the same. Like there's no boundaries, there's no borders, there's no warring. Everyone's got the same agenda.
like everyone's at peace and doing.
I think eventually
We're just Earth.
we'd have this equilibrium of where we all just have the same holidays, maybe.
I would hope so.
And it'd be a mix of probably other holidays.
Yes, I agree. It'd almost be like hey, here's Hanukkah, and you would have Muslims that are excited about Hanukkah, and then you'd have, I don't know if Muslims have like a national Christmas type thing, but you'd have a Muslim holiday, and the Jews would be excited about it because you could still have differences, but people would get along.
Just like Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah,
We love Cinco de Mayo.
and I would think the Latino community loves that non-Latinos love Cinco de Mayo. Like it's cool that they're being celebrated, and I think
that's
it's
fair.
cool.
That's fair. Well, that's all I had on holidays. They're weird. Holidays are odd. It's a weird concept.
Hey, if you could create a holiday, what would it be?
Whenever it is, no work.
So it's a federal holiday.
It's a federal
holiday. That's a good question.
To talk about maybe some of the stuff we talked about today, if I could create a holiday, it would be a holiday that you almost like a less is more day. So all of the holidays are geared around how to make more money. What if there was a holiday about like, hey, we don't need to make money today. Like you should give some of your stuff away to charity, but then the charities make money. I don't know. It'd be kind of interesting.
It's a
to have,
holiday.
like,
it's hard around shutting yourself down.
Yeah, like
Isn't
almost
that just like every Sunday? You know, like a lot of people have that day of rest.
true.
There's probably a holiday about just lay down.
It's
play
hard to
video
think
games.
about. It's hard to think about a holiday that doesn't involve
I know.
doing something or buying something or patronizing some sort of business.
Could there be a meditation holiday where the point is just to sit down and just think?
I bet there is.
I'm sure there
probably is already.
Hey, well, my holidays.
But it's hard to think about a big one that's like awesome and fun and
That's
without
true.
there being
How do you
business
create
involved.
another Christmas?
Yeah, exactly. Right? How do you create one of these the big three or
That's
the big
true.
four?
What are the big three? Christmas,
New
Year's,
Thanksgiving,
Thanksgiving,
and then either Halloween or 4th of July.
and 4th of July.
Probably 4th of July in America.
I would say Halloween's pretty competitive.
The
It's
Halloween's not federal. It's not even recognized. by the
Oh,
government.
true. Yeah, I can see that.
That's true. It should be.
I agree.
It should be, and it should be the last Saturday in October.
Yeah, it's
Always.
that's the fact.
Always.
It should be the last weekend of.
I
It should be a
know.
Thanksgiving-like holiday where
I
it's
got
on a
freaking
specific
kids
day.
knocking on my door after I put my kids to sleep,
A Wednesday at 8 o'clock,
Yes.
9 o'clock at night.
and it's dark.
Like, fucking, I'm sleeping. Hungry.
You guys don't have any holidays you'd create?
I don't think I could think of one. I'm too stupid.
Too stupid. Yeah, how about just, hey, if you're listening, what's a holiday that you'd like to see?
Yeah, what's a holiday you want? Give us a holiday that would be fun.
There you go. That's a good idea. Cool. Thanks for listening.
See you guys.
Bye.
Thanks for listening today. We hope that you take this back to your friends and your family and have these same conversations.
You can catch us at a lunchtime conversation on Instagram and a lunchtime conversation on Facebook, and on Twitter or X, it is a lunchtime convo.
We'd love to hear from you, and maybe we'll use you guys on a